Have you been feeling sad, maybe a little blue? Feel like this pandemic has really gotten the best of you? You could be dealing with depression. I'm Dr. Hamilton Stubbs. I'm a doubly board certified sleep specialist and I'm trained in nutrition. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. And don't forget to hit the notification button so you can get notified when I make new videos. I try to upload new videos on Wednesdays. Depression is a common problem in America. It affects about 1 in 6 adults. During the pandemic, the rate of depression has increased. Some of the reasons for this is we can't go anywhere. We don't know when we're going to get back to normal. We've lost some of our friends. Maybe you have even become infected and could be having some problems with long-term COVID-19 symptoms. And maybe you lost a job, you lost a coworker, or you could be having problems with paying for your housing. There's all kinds of things going on now that we haven't had to deal with, and it's been going on for more than a year. If we don't have a good support system, we are more prone to get problems with depression. And even people who do have a good support system can have problems with depression. One of the things about depression and mental health disorders is some people will not seek treatment from qualified people. So if you happen to be one of those folks, call the suicide hotline if you feel like you want to commit suicide, life isn't worth living. If you're thinking about death, can be anonymous. The number is 1-800-662-HELP. The other thing I tell patients who refuse to get help from a trained mental health provider is to talk to a minister or someone that's in your field that gives you a spiritual connection. I happen to be a Christian, so for me, it's going to be a minister, a reverend, or someone in that category. But regardless of what faith you practice, if there's a faith leader that you feel comfortable with talking to, reach out to that person. If that person hasn't been trained in mental health treatment, you may need to reach out to that person until you get the strength to contact someone who has been trained as a mental health provider. One of the common problems with depression is insomnia. Some people have insomnia and they can't figure out why they can't go to sleep, and it's because they're depressed. We use a little simple depression screening scale, which I'll leave you a link for below. And that gives a score that is just a suggestion of whether or not you're depressed. Now, you can always fake out the scale by not answering it truthfully, but in the privacy of your own home, just answer the questions honestly. And if you get a score that suggests that you have depression, seek medical help. This video is for information only. It's not to diagnose and it's not to give medical advice. When we have problems with depression, people can have difficulty falling asleep, but a lot of times the difficulty isn't falling asleep, it's staying asleep. That person will have early morning awakenings, and they usually come anywhere between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. They just don't seem to be able to sleep through the night. When you have problems with depression, we really do need to look at the cause of your depression and try to reverse that. And that's where therapy is going to come in. I'm not really big on just giving prescription medicines because sometimes you need a person to talk to so that you can work through your depression problems. The other thing about sleep is if you don't get sleep, it can precipitate depression. And if you already have depression and you can't go to sleep, then it can make it difficult for your healthcare provider to manage your depression. So what do? When you have problems with depression and we've identified that, a counselor to help you talk through your problems, and sometimes you need an antidepressant medication. If you're on an antidepressant medication, as you start to come out of your depression is when most people are at the greatest risk for committing suicide. If you start to have suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Prevention number, the hotline at 1-800-662-HELP, or your private healthcare provider. But do not sit there and contemplate suicidal thoughts. Get the help you need. The other thing is diet. There's a direct connection between our gut and our brain. If you are not eating a healthy diet, I suggest you change your diet along with all the other things, the counseling, the medication, get a healthier diet. And by that, real food, no preservatives. Try not to eat fast food or processed foods, at least for this period of time until you work out of your depression. Some foods are good at boosting the serotonin. Talk to a dietitian and find out what those foods are, and be sure to include some of those in your diet. Exercise is also something that will help you sleep better. Now, when you're depressed, you probably don't feel like doing a lot of exercise. You definitely wouldn't feel like going to the gym and working out with the weights on those machines. But just getting outside and having a walk could help you. Walking in the evening can help you sleep better at night. You should be walking outside. Walking in the environment, and you want to practice your um, COVID safety guidelines when you're walking, mask, social distancing. You want to be outside because outside environments tend to help decrease depression. Get up in the morning time and get some sunlight. When you get sunlight before the dangerous UV waves are out, this can help you with your depression. Always protect your eyes with at least a 4-inch sun visor or a bill on your hat, and sunglasses that protect you from UVA and UVB rays. Try to be consistent with going to bed. Now, you want to have a bedtime routine that is helpful to you. Sometimes people find that taking a warm bath with some lavender, it has to be natural lavender, and a little bit of Epsom salt will help them to relax. Once you get out of that, after you've soaked for about 20 minutes, and you don't have any contraindications to Epsom salt bath, you may want to go right into your bedroom and practice meditation. For me, meditation is several different types. I like the prayer. Find a scripture that is good for you or a Lord's Prayer that you like, and just keep saying that prayer as a sort of a mantra. Now, if you don't have a religious connection, you may want to meditate on maybe a scene that causes some relaxation for you. There's also good videos and meditation tapes out there that you can learn how to meditate. You want to do some progressive muscle relaxation. This will help you relax too. And the instructions for progressive muscle relaxation technique is on my website at drhamiltonsdoes.com, blog, and then just put in the search progressive muscle relaxation. Make sure that your bedroom is conducive for sleep. You want it to be quiet, dark, comfortable mattress, comfortable temperature. Remove your electronic devices. Turn your clock away from you so that you're not clock watching through the night. And then hop into the bed. Put on a dark eye shield that helps with sleep, and then try to relax. I like the idea of recording a sleep journal. Now, I know you can get this as a sleep tracker on many types of devices, even download apps onto your phone. But I like the old-fashioned way of just keeping a sleep journal where you write down the time that you went to sleep, and then the next day you write down how many times you think you woke up and what was bothering you, or what do you think kept you from falling back to sleep. Some people think going to bed at the same time every night is the most important part of stabilizing your sleep pattern, but it's actually waking up in the morning at the same time. So decide when you want to wake up, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then try to stick to that, even if you have a bad night of sleep. One of the ways you can use your sleep journal is see how many hours how many hours you actually are asleep of the total time that you're in bed. For example, if you go to bed at 10 p.m. and your wake up time is 6 a.m. and you find that you're only sleeping 5 hours, then you want to adjust the time you go into bed so that your total time in bed is about 5 hours. As you start to sleep longer, you push your bedtime back so that you're in the bed a little bit longer each night. This is because when you go to bed and you're not sleeping, people tend to have racing thoughts. You also start to associate the bed with insomnia. In the morning time, within the first 20 minutes, try to get a little bright sunlight. And it doesn't have to be a very sunny day. It can even be a cloudy day. Just go outside and get some sunlight. And then if you're going to have breakfast, make sure that you're having something that is a whole foods breakfast. And I prefer to start eating somewhere around 10 o'clock to kind of help let those cortisol levels stabilize before you start putting anything in your system that will cause blood sugar spikes. When we have problems with depression, we can expect problems with sleep. Some people tend to sleep too much, they're sleepy all the time, and sometimes people have problems with not being able to go to sleep or not being able to stay asleep. Be sure to do the sleep screening questionnaire and also contact your primary care provider. And if you have questions about whether or not you're dealing with depression that's causing your insomnia, be sure to contact your healthcare provider and also do a screening test and be honest with yourself. I'll leave you a couple of those that you can use at the bottom of this, and you can also go to my website, drhamiltonstubbs.com, and check out my blog, Search for Depression, and see if you can find the screening tools there. If this video has been helpful to you, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and share the video. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit notifications. I try to make YouTube videos on Wednesdays.